Let me start with a question that many experienced professionals quietly wrestle with. What if you're financially ready to retire, but you're not ready to stop contributing? Not because you need the money necessarily, not because you want to keep working long hours for sure, but because you still have judgment and perspective and experience that people can rely on. Here's what most people never realize. Retirement, it's not the only next step. There are other paths. And there's one in particular that I see that allows you to stay engaged and flexible and relevant without staying in a full-time job. And once you see it, it's impossible to unsee it. Retirement was originally designed for people whose work was physically demanding. It assumed that when the job was ending, the worker would need rest. But today, of course, the most valuable professionals are not using their bodies. They're using their judgment, their experience, and all that accumulated insight. And those things, they do not wear out. In fact, they become more valuable with time. A senior operations leader recently told me this. He said, I'm financially ready to retire, but I'm not psychologically ready to stop making a contribution. And he said, I'm honestly afraid of the idea of not adding value to somebody somewhere. He didn't want another full time job. He didn't want to start a time consuming, complex business. He didn't want to sit still either. What he wanted was a way to stay engaged on his terms. If you share his fear, then consider this. Retirement is no longer the finish line. It's simply a transition point. And the professionals who navigate that transition most successfully are not the ones who stop working. They're the ones who redesign how they work. If you're thinking about retirement or even just thinking about stepping away from your current role or current function, ask yourself these questions. Do you want to stop working, or do you actually want to stop working the way you work now? That distinction changes everything. Let me share with you something that I don't think most people ever realize or see. The fastest growing career path among professionals over 50 is not employment. It's working independently, and specifically independent consulting. Not because it's trendy and not because it's risky, but because it allows them to stay active, flexible, and relevant without the demands of a traditional job. The smartest alternative to retirement is not withdrawal, it's redesign. And in the next video, we're going to talk about why your experience is actually more valuable now than it might have been 10 years ago, even sometimes if it doesn't feel that way.